maybe pick up, Super Bowl MVP number 2.
So I'm going to be there. Yep. Don't mean to brag, but I'll be there.
I think the Patriots are close to being that team that can win a Super Bowl.
The major advantage, again, is the special teams.
Hello and welcome to Ain't That Our Ball. We are finally here. The Super Bowl is on Sunday. The season is just about over, and we're so excited to watch the biggest game of the year. I'm David Scott. Alongside me is NFL expert Ryan Sanudo. Ryan, we made it.
We made it. I mean, these two teams, the Seahawks, Patriots, we did not expect them to even make the playoffs this year, and they're in a Super Bowl showcase. Can't wait to talk about it.
All right, so obviously the thing that we got to talk about in this game is the quarterbacks. Drake Maye, the MVP candidate, and Sam Darnold, the resurgent career. Let's start with Drake Maye over on the Patriots. They're going to be the home team in this game. What has he done in his sophomore season to really explode this year?
Pretty much everything. I mean, he can run with the football, and his deep ball, I think, is one of the best in the league. So for him to just bounce back after a rocky rookie season, everyone was not on the same page last year. The offensive line was terrible. And he's playing under an offensive line that isn't that great, and he's still leading his team to victories and to being such a great quarterback. And he doesn't have great, playmakers either. So I got to give him a lot of credit for the way they've been playing. Obviously, Vrabel's first, but then next is Drake Maye, just with his leadership, the deep ball, like I said, his accuracy. I mean, it was just full-on display throughout the season. Yes, he's been struggling throughout the playoffs, but let's be honest, they have been playing very hard defenses, the Broncos, the Texans. But throughout the season, Maye has been on point with his game, and he's the reason why they're in the Super Bowl right now.
Yeah, what he's been doing with what is one of the worst offensive lines in the league and a receiving core that's headlined by Stephon Diggs and then has just about no one underneath it is extremely impressive to be, second, third in the league in passing yards, 31 passing touchdowns, and that's not including playoff stats. He's been just nothing short of incredible. It's been very exciting to see. And even if they don't take home a Super Bowl this year, you got to have a lot of hope for the next decade in New England.
Oh, I said it before. We didn't expect the Patriots to make the playoffs. We expected them to play better than last year. But for them to be, where they are right now is truly incredible. I mean, it's just amazing how the Patriot way, it just always happens. This could be a potential, dynasty type, atmosphere for the Patriots like they had with Belichick and Brady. But going back to Drake Maye, I mean, he's just been such a great, player. I mean, he's only going to be one of the top quarterback favorites for MVP. Drake Maye, he's been just connecting with all his receivers too. Stephon Diggs is the leading guy, but you know what? They got other guys too that we'll talk about later in the show. Hunter Henry, Booty, even Mac Hollins, and these are guys that are not like big names, but he's still finding a way to get things done. Pop Douglas. So there's so many guys that really maybe the casual doesn't know, and guess what? Drake Maye has still been delivering with those guys.
Yeah, it's been fairly impressive, and we're going to have to talk about his playoff performances just because, they happened. We're here, and, he's had such a spectacular regular season, but he wasn't spectacular in the first of his playoff games. He wasn't. I think he had, one game over 100 yards? He might have even eclipsed 100 passing yards. The turnovers have been a problem. The defense has really helped them get by here to the Super Bowl. So it's been a rocky road for him against some top defenses. He's coming up against one of, if not the best defense in the league. Are we going to see more of the same of the last couple playoff games, or is he going to turn things up now that we're in the Super Bowl?
It's hard to say. I don't think he's going to be as bad as he was in the playoffs, but I don't think he's going to look that great in the playoffs. I mean, just because of the Seahawks defense, it's one of the best in the league. Mike McDonald mans the ship, and you know what? They don't even have to blitz, and they still get to the quarterback. So, and the corners are good too. I mean, there's really very few things that I can say, oh, that's not great on that defense. So Drake Maye will have his hands full. I don't think the running attack will be that great in this Super Bowl either. So I think it's going to be all up to Drake Maye in this game, and I think he just has to realize, the pressure might get to him. He has to, obviously secure the football, but also tuck and run when he has to. So that might create havoc for the Seahawks defense because they like to play cover two. They like to have a lot of safeties, in the back. So that can surprise the defense, and then the linebackers have to do their job with Drake Maye's running ability. So I think that's what Drake Maye has to do. I think connect with Diggs, the tight ends, and then also tuck and run when he has to.
Yeah, just safe football needs to be the name of the game for the Patriots. A lot of fumbles. Interceptions haven't been too much of a problem, but the fumble has been a huge issue. And with that offensive line and the defensive line that's going to be coming after them, you got to expect at least, 4, maybe 5 sacks in this game. So hold on to that football tight and get out of the pocket when you need to. That's going to be just hugely important for him. I expect that he's going to learn from those past couple playoff games and deliver a better performance now that it is the Super Bowl, but still something to watch out for. Let's jump over to the other side now. Sam Darnold, kind of a different scope from Maye. He had a pretty good season this year. It wasn't spectacular, but it was good. lot of turnovers was kind of his issue. We get to the playoffs, and he has been, good Lord, incredible, just almost perfect in the playoffs. What's going on with Sam Darnold this year?
Oh, I mean, throughout the year, I mean, it was sporadic. There'd be amazing games with Darnold, and then obviously the clunker games against the Rams during the season. But then he backed it up in the playoffs in the championship game. But I like Darnold. I think he's a good player. I think, when he has to make that read and make that throw, he can. The deep ball, he's been a lot better than maybe in years past. In Minnesota, I think he was strived with the deep ball, and now the same thing this year. So obviously him and the connection with JSN has been spectacular. The run game has helped him too, and of course that defense. But going back to Darnold, I really like what he's been doing, just connecting with JSN. Even A.J. Barner, that's a guy that we'll talk about. I think he can be a playmaker in this type game. But Sam Darnold has to realize, again, just like Drake Maye, the pressure might be getting to you. Just secure that football, don't force the throw, because that can actually cause trouble for Seattle. If there's pressure on Darnold and he just decides to heave it up, there could be Patriots waiting to make that interception. So that's what Darnold has to look out in this game. He can't make the bad throw, throwing into double coverage. So that's something that we have to focus in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, the Patriots have pretty good secondary play. Now, Darnold has been good with the turnovers in the playoffs. He's been very composed with the ball while also being aggressive and getting the ball downfield. But that one mistake can really turn things on its head. So how is he going to perform against a pretty solid Patriots front line? They really rebuilt that in the offseason. Is the offensive line going to hold up to that? I think they probably will. That offensive line in Seattle is really good. But we know Darnold, he's good at getting out of the pocket. He's great at throwing on the run. We've seen plays like that throughout the season and into the playoffs. So I feel pretty solid about him in this matchup. I think he has done nothing but grow throughout the season, throughout the past 2 seasons with the Vikings and now the Seahawks. I think that's grown throughout the playoffs. He's been a 300-yard, multiple touchdown passer in the playoffs. I think we see more of the same.
Yeah, possibly. I still think that Darnold, it's not going to be an amazing game for him, because I still got to credit that Patriots defense. I mean, I think both teams have the same strengths with the defensive front. With the Seahawks, they have Byron Murphy, they have Leonard Williams, and the Patriots, Barmore, Milton Williams. So those guys, I actually think the offensive line could have some trouble against the Patriots. They're, vibing at the same time, the Patriots. So what Darnold has to do, I mean, again, like I said, he just has to secure that football, and I think quick throws too. But at the same time, though, I mean, that Rams game, I think we said before the game, just safe throws. But we saw Darnold in that beginning of that Rams game. He just chucked it up to JSN, 30, 40 yards, and that can surprise the defense too. So I think Darnold, he just has to be comfortable in that pocket. We saw that in that Rams game. He was very comfortable. He wasn't, forcing throws. He was very comfortable. For Darnold to be successful in this game, he has to be comfortable and be confident early on in this game.
Yeah, he certainly wasn't afraid to sling the ball around in that Rams game. He was chucking some balls into some crazy places with really great accuracy. So if he keeps that up, it's going to be great for the Seahawks. We've been talking about the defense a bit while we're talking about these quarterbacks. So let's keep on that. We've mentioned the fronts for both teams, but I think the quote unquote weakness for each team is the secondary. Now, it's not exactly a weakness. It's just that it's the weaker point on the offense. The passing game is going to be what really decides the Super Bowl. I think both running games will probably be almost shut down completely. It's going to be up to Drake Maye and Sam Darnold, who can take advantage of the opposing secondary more. Which team do you think is going to be more vulnerable in that position?
Ooh, that's a very good question. I think probably, that's really good. I think probably the Patriots, because Seattle, they have Woolen and Witherspoon. Those are 2 guys. And then with the Patriots, obviously you have Gonzalez, but then you also have Marcus Jones. And Marcus Jones might be a guy that the Seahawks can target. So that will be Shaheed, that will be Kupp. Those guys can get targets. So I give the advantage to the Seattle Seahawks. But at the same time, like JSN, Gonzalez, that is a great matchup to look at. But I think JSN, what the Seahawks can do to combat Gonzalez is just have JSN move around, pre-snap and, make things a little bit, confusing for that Patriots defense. So I think we're going to be seeing a lot of motion when it comes to Seattle. Clint Kubiak likes to do that. And then for the Patriots, I think, again, they have to move, pre-motion as well. But I give the advantage to the Seahawks both on the wide receiver side and also the corner side. So those are key, aspects to look at in this game, but I give Seattle the advantage on both fronts.
Yeah, and once you get past the corners for Seattle, you get into the safeties, and Nick Emenwari, the rookie, has been amazing. Spectacular.
Yep.
So if you get past the corner, you're going to have Emenwari lurking there to try and make a play as well. So yeah, I agree that the Seahawks definitely have that advantage when it comes to the secondary. Movement, motions, deception, that is going to be the name of the game for both teams. We've seen Kubiak put Jason in all sorts of crazy situations. He's got him lining up as a running back and running scissors out of the backfield. They've got him doing crazy things. How can Mike Vrabel and Josh McDaniels find a way to counter that and emulate it so that they can mess up the Seahawks defense?
Another really good question. These are two really back-to-back really good questions. I got to say, I think probably blitzing is what the Patriots defense probably will do, and probably early downs. I feel like the Patriots, I saw a stat, they're 40% blitzing throughout the playoffs, so that's a really big number. So I expect Darnold he has to recognize that a blitz might happen from the get-go in this game. So I think that's what the Patriots will do in this game, and Seattle has to combat that. So that means, bringing 2 tight ends. This is going to be very strategic. These are 2 teams that have, smart leadership, and they've been there, done that. Vrabel's, obviously been in Super Bowls, so he knows what exactly to do. And obviously Josh McDaniels, 9 Super Bowls as an offensive coordinator. So this is going to be such a great game, but Darnold has to realize that the blitz will happen. So I think it's got to be quick. Got to throw the ball as soon as possible when it comes to those blitzes.
Yeah, the quick pass is certainly going to benefit a guy like Cooper Kupp, who has gone into that sort of short pass, not slot role, because JSN is really that slot receiver there in Seattle, but Cooper Kupp benefits from those quick passes. He's there when the ball needs to come out quick, get some run after catch, find an opening in that short intermediate area. He was really good with that throughout the season, those goal line fades, things like that, slant routes. So I think Kupp could be a huge beneficiary in this game. Maybe pick up, Super Bowl MVP number 2.
Ooh, maybe, possibly. I mean, you never know. And I think Cooper Kupp will, play a part in this game, but also Shaheed. I think Shaheed is a guy that they can, tap his, they can, utilize his skills. And obviously, special teams too. Shaheed can be that major factor in this game, just the way he, returns, punts and kickoff. So I expect Shaheed to play a huge role. I think the major advantage, again, is the special teams. The Seahawks are just known to be that team to just, get fumbles. Jason Myers is really good as a kicker. So I think special teams is another thing that the Seattle Seahawks have over the Patriots. But we keep saying advantages for Seattle, but I still think the Patriots aren't too far off when it comes to some aspects in this game.
Yeah, we've highlighted a lot of Seahawks playmakers because it really is easy to do that. They got a lot of great guys. Let's talk about some of the guys on the Patriots that could come out of the woodwork to surprise us. We've got guys like Kayshon Boutte. We've got Demario Douglas. We've got Kyle Williams, a Hunter Henry, maybe a Travion Henderson comes out. Is there someone that you could look at and say, all right, I see this guy maybe breaking out in this game and being one of the big difference makers?
First of all, I think it'll be Diggs. I think Diggs is going to get his run, obviously, but then next up, I think it might be Hunter Henry. I think both teams aren't good against the tight ends throughout the year, so I expect middle of the field Hunter Henry to be available when needed. He has to really step up because I feel like we haven't heard Hunter Henry's name a lot recently. I feel like Hunter Henry was that guy for Drake Maye early on in the season, and then everyone else, like the Demario Douglases of the world, Boutte, stepped up. So I think, the next guy probably could be Hunter Henry, and then I think you mentioned Boutte too. I think that's a guy that has been really good. I mean, 16 yards per reception. I think that's a guy you can look at, on the outside to create havoc for that secondary. So that's going to be key. I think the receiving game can have its, ups and downs, but I really don't like the run game, for the Patriots. I think Stevenson has been good, but Henderson, I got to say, I've really been impressed with Travion Henderson. I mean, he didn't play that many snaps in the previous game against the Broncos, so I feel like Stevenson will be that guy, that lead running back in this game, but that Seahawks front, that's really scary for a bad offensive line in New England, and Stevenson, who's, I think, a mediocre at best running back.
I think the running game for the Patriots is out of the question here. Travion Henderson has basically been taken out of the game plan. He was fine in his rookie season, in the regular season, but then they kind of just haven't been utilizing him just based on some of the looks that we've been seeing from him around the offensive line. And then Ramondre Stevenson is just not that great as a running back. He's a solid option, but he's top 15. Yeah. I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, so, I mean, as long as he's not fumbling, he's been fine. But other than that,
yeah. So if you're the Patriots, you can look at your running game as a secondary option, but that it's just going to have to be bomb it down the field a lot, the check downs maybe. But we've talked about the Patriots' deep ball ability before. I would keep an eye out for someone who just makes the difference with a deep reception for a touchdown out of nowhere. Maybe a Kyle Williams who's getting like 20 yards per reception, or Kayshon Boutte, who is really, I think, their true deep threat. So it's going to be one of those guys that's going to make a big play if they're going to have that explosive moment that keeps them in the game or wins them the game.
Yeah, I think an overused term that we use is establish the run. I don't think the Patriots will be doing any of that, in this game. I think it's to establish the play action game. Maybe the defense thinks they're running the ball. No, it's play action. You have Drake Maye launch a deep ball, and then that can create havoc for the defense, and they're playing the pass, and then you can get some runs in. So it's actually going to be establish the pass for the Patriots. I think that's what they're going to do in this game. Make things quick and easy for Drake Maye, but also all it takes is 2.5, 3 seconds for Drake Maye to launch a deep ball and hope for the best with Stephon Diggs and company. So I think the Patriots, they know what they have in store. It's not going to be easy against the Seahawks defense, but I think it's both sides. I think both defenses are coming into the Super Bowl at the right time, especially the Patriots. I mean, yes, they haven't been playing great competition, but they've been really, really good the last 4 or 5 weeks. So I think the Patriots defense coming into the Super Bowl right now.
Yeah, it's hard to really see how they match up against each other. A lot of their strengths are similar. A lot of their weaknesses are similar. But we're going to have to come to the point where we look at these teams and think of who's going to come out on top, who's got the edge where, and who's got the edge in other places. So we're going to ask the hard-hitting questions of who in this game is going to become the Super Bowl champion. Is it going to be a close game? Is it going to be a blowout? What are your thoughts? You're going to be there.
So I'm going to be there. Yep. Don't mean to brag, but I'll be there. But Seahawks I have winning 23-17. I think the over/under is 46. I think it's going to be a low-scoring type game. I think this is a similar team to the Eagles. I think this is a team that is built on their defense. They have guys up front. I mean, last year was Milton Williams was on that team. So this is close to an identity with the Seahawks and the Eagles. So I think it's going to be 23-17. Sam Darnold wins MVP. Look, I think the turnovers are an issue with Darnold, but as long as he cleans that up, that should be fine.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you that the Seahawks are going to win this game. But while I don't have an exact score prediction, I think it's going to be a win for the Seahawks by at least double digits. I do think that they are, without a doubt, the better football team. And I think the weakness of the Patriots' offensive line to the dominance of the Seahawks' defensive line is going to be the difference maker. I think Maye's going to be on the ground a lot, or he's going to be outside of the pocket a lot. And that's going to allow the Seahawks to either get sacks, get fumbles, or just dominate in the secondary because Maye is having to improvise. So I think it's going to be, if I had to put a score on it, since what did you say, 23-17?
23-17, yeah. So
give
that's 40 points.
Give me like a 27-14.
Okay. All right.
Or a 27-17, something like that, where I think the Seahawks are going to have not too much trouble on offense, or maybe they pull in a special teams or defensive touchdown, and the Patriots really struggle to get over that hump. I think the Patriots are close to being that team that can win a Super Bowl. They got a couple things they got to tidy up in the future, in next season, in free agency, in the draft. They're close. They're just not quite there yet.
Oh, and at the same time, they're still in the Super Bowl. But yeah, you're right. I think the Patriots, there's certain aspects that I think one more year they'll be a lot better in those departments. And the Seahawks, I think both teams are going to be slow off the gate. That's usually what we see in the Super Bowls. But I think at the end of the game, Seattle will come out with a victory. I think just the way that they've been playing, just beating the Rams, I feel like those two teams, whoever won that game would win the Super Bowl. And I think that's going to be the case here.
That's going to do it for this week's episode of Ain't That Our Ball. Stick with us for coverage of the big game, and you can watch X's and O's on Monday. Please leave a like and subscribe, and let us know who you think is going to win the Super Bowl.